Hey guys, I'm here at the Minds and Money or Resourcing Tomorrow conference in London, and I've been approached by various companies asking my advice as to which conferences are the best ones for them to be attending. And lucky enough, today I'm joined by someone who's actually in charge of and started something called the Mining Investment Event based in Quebec this June. It's been a pleasure to be there the last couple of years.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about the reasons why I'm making this event one of the priority events for mining companies in 2025. Joanne, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great. Nice to have you over here in London. You're obviously meeting the great and the good.
Yes, and everything in between as well. But yeah, we're doing very well this year at the event. We are already at 100 companies confirmed. Mm-hmm. Very delighted to report that last year I really feel like we cracked the back on this thing last year, where we had 16 of the billion-dollar market caps take the main stage. And we're on track to do that again this year. And as a matter of fact, we already have 100 companies that are confirmed.
Okay, but I got to get down to bolts and nuts here, which is the reason that companies come, and that's investors. So in terms of investor profiles and the types of companies they can expect to meet.
Yeah, so when we started in 22, I mean, it was right after COVID, we have grown 150%. Since we launched in 22, and that includes our investor profile. So last year we hosted 265 qualified investors from family offices, funds, brokerage firms from the US. We're seeing more interest as well from Europe. That's coming through this year as well with our investor outreach. We expect to have 300 investors.
Right.
So we hosted 108 companies last year with 265 investors, about 800 participants. We expect that obviously to grow about 30% across the board.
Obviously, retail investors welcome, but this is about slightly bigger ticket writing investors. That we're looking at, right?
And we differentiate between private investors and retail investors. It is invitation only, so we do invite, I'm going to say maybe 50 to 60 retail investors who can come and network, but then we have our private investors that only have access to the one-on-one calendar to meet with the appropriate qualified companies.
Right, okay, so I've said companies want to meet investors, investors want to meet companies. So let's kind of break that down for people in terms of the kind of groupings and the thematics that you're setting up.
So as I said to you, we have our family offices, and a lot of them are from the US now and Europe. And we do have some funds that come in. Of course, the Canadian funds are there. US funds are starting to come. With your support, we'll hopefully bring in some more of the UK funds as well this year. But I think what really appeals to these people to come in is the way we've set up our system is each company has its own private one-on-one room. So, the investors are going from meeting to meeting, but we also have fantastic panels. We have speakers, we have government representatives. So if the investors or funds actually want to meet with these people, we have the facilities and we have the capabilities to hold those bilateral meetings for them, particularly for the larger ones that are interested in the critical metals side.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. There's some real big themes coming through over the last 18 months or so. Critical minerals, security around energy and green metals. Big deal. Yeah. Lots of money looking in. Industry looking in, funds starting to look back in, and it's kind of clear who the winners are. So how do you kind of show that off?
Well, we do have a critical metals day, and within that day, obviously we have important speakers, but we have specific panels. One of the panels this year, obviously we're going to have a copper panel, but one of them that I'm really kind of excited about is our transition energy metals panel. Okay. We're just putting everything together now, as you know. I mean, it is still early. We've got 6 months to go, but we've got we're pretty far down on our agenda.
Yeah.
But that would be, you know, a discussion with the nuclear energy companies and the other transition energy companies. We hope you would come in to moderate that panel as well for us.
Of course.
So, you know, I think these are things that a lot of the funds are now interested in, and they're looking to, you know, redeploy capital in different areas.
Well, I think it's exciting because it's one of the few thematics where there's inflows of cash versus outflows of cash for a lot of these big funds at the moment. They've been told specifically by governments to get after it. And you know, and a lot of funds co-invest in other funds, etc. So I think that's going to be super, super exciting because you're right. Nuclear is a big deal as part of the energy transition solution at the moment. But the coppers and the nickels and the lithiums all have a part to play, and along with storage as well.
Yeah, and we have, you know, I can't really say too much, but we have some big sponsors that are coming in for next year that we're in the process of confirming that will be playing a part in that as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about how this conference is developing into sort of a place to be, particularly for Canadian mining, but also, you know, we're really global now. So you might have a TSX designation, but your assets may be in Brazil or wherever. But this is the place to be, where all the governments can meet and all the funds as well as the mining companies.
That was really evident last year. Actually, I think when we first started off, it was like, it's a Quebec conference. What I saw last year was representatives from the U.S. government and other governments in play. We had projects from all around the world, not just in terms of where the assets were, but where the headquarters were as well. Yeah. It's truly, you know, a mining event for, you know, North America.
Yeah,
it feels like.
And that was the vision when we started, right? Was like, obviously we had to start small. But the vision was to really build this beautiful sort of global event here in Canada that just happens to take place in Quebec City, which is extremely mining friendly. But all of the big companies from all over the world, everybody has a footprint somewhere in Ontario or Quebec. So, you know, it just made it easier for people to embrace a new conference. And you know how difficult that is.
Yeah, and the other thing I actually quite liked last year, and I hope it's the same this year, was the ease of access.
Yes.
Hotel,
venue. Everything's there. It's the same thing. The floor plan might be a little different because we've got more companies this year for one-on-one rooms, but we love that venue. It was very well received last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to talk about maybe some of the other things which it's really important to do as part of conference. Otherwise, you end up sort of being the same as every other conference, right? So yes, I'm loving the energy transition stuff and the critical minerals and the, you know, and let's not forget gold and silver are a bit of a run here. There's a lot of representation there. But it's the kind of the women in indigenous mining. We've got the student component. You've really kind of thought about all the kind of secondary derivatives off of mining and what's important to get right.
Well, it's all about sustainability for me, and how am I going to do that? Well, you know what? We sponsor 50 students from all across Canada, and they do really come from everywhere. So it's great. They loved it. Yeah. And then this year we're going to have a women's Indigenous panel, which business panel, which I'm super excited about. You know, we have our little Chico initiative where we support young girls and women with startups and education or community programs. Yeah. So, you know, we really, when I started this, I really wanted to be able to stand out. And the other thing, like, we kind of run it like a bank conference, right? With all the evening events, all included, you know, and I felt last year that, or this year I should say, that everybody really felt like a community. Like a real, you know, like everybody enjoyed themselves. And if you didn't catch up in the meeting, was like 5 events you could catch up with somebody and talk to them. Yeah.
No, I actually got accosted by some people here at this conference talking about whether I'm going to see them or not in Quebec.
Right.
So I think it made an impression, shall we say.
Yes.
For all the right reasons. Yeah. Good business, good social. And I say there was a kind of communal feeling to it as well. Yeah. It's not an easy thing to achieve. It's very hard to achieve.
Yeah, so there was some anxiety-ridden moments in the first year, I must say.
I was about to say,
an understatement.
Well,
but
it's that kind of bravado of innocence and naivety
Yeah.
and ambition, and sometimes you just got to be brave enough to make that first
you
step.
just have to do it.
Yeah. But now look at you.
Yeah, well, I still have anxiety once in a while, but it's,
Yeah.
it's not like it was the first year.
Yeah.
I mean, the first year was
It could have been a tougher time, but
Yes.
I think what you'll see in 2025, certainly from what I'm hearing, and the companies that I like, these kind of strong development companies who have got a story, these producers which are throwing off cash, there's a bounce in their step.
Yes.
It feels like 2025 is a good year.
It's going to be a good year.
Good timing.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ear. We can only hope.
Joanne, get on with it.
We're getting there.
We'll
We'll see you in
there.
Quebec.